right. How about this? What do you guys think about this question? What has surprised you about your work or the profession?
I would say for me, one of the surprising things was that our profession is looked down upon in higher education a little bit. Like we're not seen as equals to people that have the same degree as us. Like we have an English degree, but our specialization is in TESOL, and that is not as good as just a regular MA English degree.
Let's say on the opposite side of that, I was also surprised after I'd been teaching in higher education for a period of time that content professors within the disciplines often didn't understand how people learn. That really shocked me. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, of course they wouldn't need to know how people learn because it's not part of their curriculum to finish their PhD. But for being in this profession where learning theory and understanding motivation and effective factors, that's so foundational to lesson planning and delivering content. It just seemed it's an assumption that I inaccurately put on others that, oh, of course they would know that we need to start with, some background knowledge and some generating interest in the topic. No, not necessarily.
Right. Teaching fellows made that quite clear of, just being that not knowing how to assess stuff and how to match assessments to SLOs and even the flexible teaching stuff that we're getting right now about how to do backwards design. And it's just like, that's not common knowledge. And that's amazing.
Yeah, right. And so, I guess from that perspective, I think that I feel really good that the curriculum that's usually within a TESOL degree helps people create curriculum that's learner-centered. It intersects really well with educational theory. Oh, something that surprised me when I was teaching, I thought at the beginning of teaching that it was all about delivering content really well. And if I did a good job up here and I was interesting and I explained things very clearly, that everybody would learn. And I remember learning about stuff like motivation and student interest and all that. But I was like, oh, those are just little things that, might help. But it ended up actually that those were so critical for a lot of students, was just, why are you in this room? Do you trust me? Do you have rapport with me? Do you want to engage? What's going on at home? And so understanding the bigger picture of what's going on with the student became much more clear to me in the first couple years that I was teaching, that it wasn't all about what was coming out of me. It was better understanding the context that I was teaching in.
But unlike you, I got into the profession to teach abroad. And so my first time in front of the classroom was like a student teaching experience. It was in South Korea, where I didn't speak a single word of their language. I was expecting to have a brief tutorial on culture and etiquette and basic communication when I arrived at school, but that never actually happened. So it was literally what they said, as baptism by fire, as they say. Just figuring it out. So it wasn't so much, it was a lot more of the social cue, like you were talking about, Sharon. It was less about method, and which I kind of knew them at the time, but it was, just about being able to communicate was probably the first and most important thing.